What you are about to see is true. No actors have been used. This is psychiatrist Dr. Vivian Rakoff.
Well, I've asked you this a couple of times now. We're only just getting there about your eating at such times.
When I feel sad, yes, I go. I get tough emotions. At times I get very confused. I try and do other things, but if they don't work, I get more confused. So I just have to eat. And
you just have to eat?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me more about that feeling.
Well, I don't know, really. I get very confused. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I should do or what I shouldn't do. Or if I like this guy or not. Or what, and I can't confide in my mother because she doesn't understand these things. So I try to listen to the radio or something, or sing or something, but it doesn't usually work. So I have to go and eat. And after I eat, I feel a little relieved. I don't know why, but I feel relieved.
This girl has a problem. She is fat. This is what the world sees. We're about to show you something of her own inner world. This is Dr. Henry Kravitz, Assistant Professor of Psychiatry, McGill University. I think first we ought to say something about the fact that Dr. Rakoff had never seen this family whom we're about to see before he sat down with them to commence psychotherapy.
Yes, this girl and her family came through the usual clinic at our hospital.
Could you situate us a little bit with the problem?
The problem of obesity is, on one level, a very simple one. Anyone who eats more than they need will become fat. So food is consumed in order to create energy. Some people obviously need more energy. They will need more food. But given the baseline of a person's needs, if they overeat for their needs, then they will be fat. Now, we feel that the problem of obesity is rooted in emotional factors. Now, these emotional factors are there, and are there from the beginning of life in many instances. We know that food is connected with love. I mean, the first interchange between a mother and a child is based on the feeding situation. Where the food becomes a substitute for love, we see the makings of the obese person or the addict.
Now, what would the things be to watch for when we see the family of this girl?
The first and most interesting thing we're going to see is an approach in psychiatric treatment which is rather new as far as we're concerned. And this is what we call the family approach. We will see unfolding before us in sometimes subtle, but sometimes very direct evidence of the interchanges and the conflicts that go on in the members of this family.
What will psychotherapy do here in this case that we are about to see?
Well, psychotherapy attempts to help the individual see that what they're trying to obtain is not food, but something which is very important to them, but which nevertheless they feel they can only acquire through eating.
Here then is the first interview with this girl and her parents.
Do you feel that Barbara is overweight?
Well, apparently, well, in comparison to some of the other girls, she is bigger, shall I say. And, well, she herself feels that she would like to slim down to meet the current standards, more or less.
She will, I hope, get over being stout because she's not that bad. And she's a nice-looking girl. I think, anyway.
I'm wondering what worries most that Barbara's a bit overweight.
Well, you mean whether it bothers me or Barbara? Well,
I think it bothers me more than her.
She was the one that wanted me to take her to the doctor to put her on a diet.
When I'm fat, I can't do certain activities that the other kids do.
Like?
Like, I can't play active games as good because I'm overweight.
Is it that you can't play the games, or that you're a bit shy of going out and playing them?
I'm not shy of playing them. I play them, but I can't do it.
I used to tell her to go out or call friends, or it would be fun to go out instead of staying home. And well, she resented it.
Mm-hmm. And how did she show that?
She used to go in her room, close the door, or just tell me to mind my own business.
Tell you to mind your own business. How did you go about doing that, Barbara?
Just tell her that I'll get my own friends in my own way and in my own time, and that she shouldn't be so nosy.
How do you react to this?
Well, there's a certain amount of friction, of course. I don't know if it's any different from any other family, any other teenager. That I really don't know. From what I understand, according to all teenagers, all their parents are wrong.
So what do?
I try not to interfere too much because I'll be frank with you, I haven't got the self-control that my wife has.
What do you
so
do?
I try not to interfere.
Well, she doesn't express herself to me. What's wrong? Like, I'll often ask her, what's wrong? Why do you answer me back or something? What, you know, and she won't answer me. And, well, I don't know. And if she's unhappy, I'll ask her, or she'll mumble something to me. And, I really don't know. I mean, I know I try my hardest. That's all I can say.
When did you start getting this feeling that you and Barbara weren't really talking to one another?
Well, I don't remember, of course, what you
I
confided
frankly
in me.
can't see where she's confided in her mother, or, as far as myself, never.
Are you a confiding sort of family?
We
And
never
my
do
son will
anything
go on
without
a date.
discussing it with each other.
He'll come and tell me everything.
My son will tell me everything that happens, no matter where he goes, what he does.
Yes.
We always discuss everything with him.
So it seems Barbara's different, and you're unhappy about her being
Well,
different. Yes.
Well, we definitely are.
When she was a little girl, was she like this too?
Yes. Yes, she was. Well, I had lost my first daughter, you see, and Barbara was born a year after I had lost her. And maybe I tried to do too much for her, you know, and if anything was wrong, I couldn't do enough for her. That's all. I just couldn't do enough. Maybe I did it myself by not allowing her to do things for herself, but I guess I was overpowering in some way. And I don't know, should I blame it on that?
So really we're blaming things on Barbara's fatness that have been going on for a long time.
Oh,
I imagine
she's
so.
always been,
We feel that whatever we do, try to do for her, is for her good.
Barbara, sometimes, like, if I'll tell her to wear something or something to that effect, and she'll balk me all the way. And then if she'll do it, and she'll come back and she'll say, well, gee, I'm happy I wore that dress because it was the right thing to wear, Mummy.
Sometimes I just say that to make her feel good.
I'm wondering why Barbara needs to say this, that she says it just to make you feel good.
Well, why do you?
I don't know. Because you try hard for me. So I figure you're trying, so I may as well make you feel good.
See, I get the feeling that you need to have Barbara happy.
Well, why should she be a sad girl? I mean, I don't know. If she is sad, why is she sad? I've often asked her, why? I don't know why. I want to help her, which I can't do unless she tells me what's bothering her.
Now, I get the impression that your husband's sad also.
I wouldn't say that. I
Well,
wouldn't say that at all.
Well, yes, he has been, as far as Barbara's concerned. She never
I
showed
started
any
to say
affection
something to
towards
you
my
before
husband.
when we were interrupted. What I was trying to tell you, yes, in that respect, I have been sad for a long time, because for the longest time, it was my impression that my daughter ignored me completely, and I couldn't reach her whatsoever.
Do you ignore your husband?
No.
Oh, she certainly doesn't. And I don't know why.
So we've got that Barbara ignores you and puts on a show for her mother. And the only way that Barbara's got of handling her feelings when she's sad is to go upstairs, lock herself away, eat something.
Most of the time I go into my room, but if it's really bad, I can't help it. I eat.
I think it must be quite clear to you now that it isn't just Barbara by
Well,
herself.
we understand that.
It's something that's happening between all of you.
Well, naturally.
Yes.
Yes.
Yesterday you asked my mother if she had a good childhood. Well, I should know because she always tells me, when I was young, I helped my mother do this. When I was young, I didn't ignore my father. When I was young, I had a good personality. When I was young. And that's all she ever says.
Mm-hmm. And how does that make you feel when she says that?
Well, sometimes I don't. I tell her to I'm not her, and that she should leave me alone. And so she gets angry at me, and I get angry at her.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think I have to do what she does. Say, if she jumped off the Empire State Building, she'd want me to jump off the Empire State Building also, I think.
And then how do you feel? What do you say when she says this to you?
I tell her that I'm not her and that she should mind her own business.
Mm-hmm. And what happens then?
She gets angry at me and yells at me.
She yells at you?
Yeah. I think she yells at me, yeah.
Yeah, but I get the feeling now that you're now a little bit worried that you've told me that you get so cross with your mother.
I can confide in my mother. I tried that once and it didn't work.
What happened?
She didn't understand. She didn't listen. She tried to interfere all the time. She didn't let me speak.
What was it you wanted to tell your mother?
I don't remember. It was something about boys or something and girls.
What's really inside you that you'd like to say that you can't somehow get out?
I don't know. I really don't know.
This makes you very sad, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, not being able to confide in my mother does. Because a girl should be able to.
Why do you think your mother is like this?
I don't know. I never asked her. I know I'm hurting myself, but I don't know.
How are you hurting yourself?
She's really trying for me, but I think I can try for myself. I think I don't need her to do everything for me. So I just let her get angry.
But you know, you don't let yourself get angry.
So I just go in my room.
Just go to your room then.
Yeah, and slam the door.
Your room sounds like a great place for running away to.
Yes. Sometimes I just go in my room and I think I'm someone totally different. Someone more important. And
who do you imagine you are?
I pretend I'm Julia. Julie Maxwell. Because I love the name Julia. I never liked my name. I find it dull.
Who is Julia Maxwell?
Well, she's an entertainer, an important person who knows a lot of people, important people. And she's fun. She's fun to imagine her. Like she seems like a real person, really. But
what does she look like?
She got a good figure. She has dark brown hair and dark brown eyes. I just love brown eyes. And she's nice. She has a nice personality. She isn't shy.
What does Julie Maxwell eat?
Well, she eats enough. But she never gets fat. That's what it disgusts me.
But, you know, when you can't imagine that you're her, you eat.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't help any, but I probably think it does at the time. And then I go in my room, and sometimes after that I can imagine I'm her. When I imagine I'm her, I don't feel like eating. I'm having too good of a time.
What do you think you would have to do to be important to your parents?
I don't know. I don't have the slightest idea what I would have to do to be important to my parents.
Now, I've heard it said that, and you can perhaps correct the quotation, inside every fat person is a thin person frantically trying to get out.
Julia Maxwell is this other girl, the girl who is interested in boys, who has fantasies of being a very enticing, exhibitionistic actress. Now it comes through a little more clearly in this girl, and therefore doesn't play nearly as important a role, I think, as in some people, where they are not even aware, consciously that is, of these forces, but are only aware of the fact that they have to eat.
Now, being able then to tie up this girl's realization of what she's actually doing with the real meaning of what she is doing should conceivably help her?
Yes, we come to the process that we call psychotherapy, a process which involves unfolding some of the inner feelings, thoughts, fears, prohibitions, and defenses, which we all use, some usefully, some very detrimentally, as is obvious in this case.
Will she lose weight?
If therapy is at all successful, then she will begin to lose weight quite successfully.
You say if psychotherapy succeeds. Why the if?
Ordinarily, we can think of people made of rubber. You know, they bounce and they bounce back. But these highly sensitive and sensitized people are much more like balloons. They're pricked and they're deflated, and they have to blow themselves up again, and food is one way of doing it. And I say if psychotherapy succeeds, because one has this terribly difficult task of building up their immunity to sensitivity, to being hurt, which is so very difficult, and which may in many instances not succeed. Where this doesn't succeed, the psychotherapy will be a failure.
It is now 4.5 months since this girl and her family were first seen by the psychiatrist. They have met weekly since, and things have changed.
And when did you find you could start dieting?
I don't know, after Ma stopped being so crabby. Not really crabby, so pushy. We aren't arguing, so why should I go eat? And she gives me more freedom. So if I have more freedom, I'm more independent. If I'm more independent, my life is more of my own.
You must get mad sometimes.
Of course.
And when you get mad, what do?
I shout.
You shout?
Yes.
You know, before you used to cry. You couldn't say anything.
Now I yell.
Mm-hmm. And what happened to Julia Maxwell in all this?
Oh, she's still here, but not as much. So, you know, I pretend I'm Julia Maxwell and I'm speaking to myself. It's really a crazy procedure. It's very mixed. If anyone saw me, they'd think I was a nut.
Well, now, here is a girl who's a lot happier, but she's still fat.
Perfectly true. What we're seeing is a segment which has lasted 4 months. This girl has been fat many years. She has to go through a process of retraining, re-education, and building up a confidence which at the moment is really much more on the surface than deep-rooted. Now, it doesn't matter whether at the moment our young lady talks a little more harshly than one would like a teenager to talk to her parents, but we lose the point, the important point, that they're beginning to talk to each other. We hope, not only do we hope, but we assume that coupled with this new way of dealing with people, she acquires also something much more important, a sense of responsibility, because fear, although a deterrent previously, is not nearly as useful as a sense of responsibility. And a sense of responsibility implies that I now begin to consider the effect my feelings have on somebody else's feelings. Now, when that comes, the feelings she has acquired, or the new way she has acquired of dealing with people, will find its proper niche.
So, everything's all right now?
Do you think everything's all right now?
Better.
Better.
She's
Can you
nice.
give me... She's nicer. Yes, can you give me an example?
Well, like this afternoon, I left some clothes on my bed and skirt, you know, I had to go out. I had to go to my friend's house, very important business, you see. So, she didn't yell. When I came home that night. She wasn't there when I left.
Well, I feel that she should hang up her clothes and keep her clothes
they're
neat.
neatly down.
But I tell her, but, well, I feel she'll get around to it, that's all. Because no matter how many times I'll tell her, she'll do it when in her own good time. So I just leave it as such.
I'll do it.
I know before she go to bed, it'll have to be hung up because she can't get into bed.
You know, some differences happened here. Before, when you two used to speak, Barbara didn't look at you.
No.
She used to look away from you. And, you see, the important thing is not that you disagree, or will continue to disagree, that's inevitable. But that somehow or the other you're talking more to one another.
And I'm glad that she's able to come to me because I always wanted that, which I could never get. But somehow or other, she's a little more relaxed now, and now she puts it. I am too, so...
Do you believe her that some change has occurred in you too? Or do you just think something's happened to Barbara? You know,
Do I have to
get
answer
that
that?
feeling... You're free to answer what you like.
She's developed confidence in herself, which I'm very happy
Yes.
about.
Oh, that's very important. Really, very important. Because at one time, well, if you remember, she never thought very much of herself.
I still don't. I still don't think I'm pretty. But if other people are going to tell me, I can't stop them, can I?
Other people? Who?
Girls and boys. Yeah. I'm not going to argue with them. They say I'm cute. I say I don't think I'm so cute, but I can't help it. They tell me I have a terrific personality, I have a terrific sense of humor and all that.
Why do you say that's enough?
She thinks it's funny.
Hey, you see, when you say that's enough, it's almost as if you're telling Barbara, I know it's a joke, but you're telling her it's nonsense.
No, it's not nonsense, but my
First,
husband
you'd be
might do.
very, very confident of himself without being egoistic about himself. Egoistic, Barbara, is when you talk about yourself.
Oh, yes.
And you can still have a lot of confidence in yourself at the same time. That's the point that I think my wife is trying to make.
How many times do I
Maybe
talk
she
about
shouldn't make this
myself?
point because she's at the early stage of being confident, and she should let her be egoistic so as to build up her
Yes,
ego
it's
to
true.
a certain extent.
Yes.
Maybe later
so.
on.
And
Cut her
don't
down a
let
little
me
bit.
go like
So you're saying to your wife for the moment, hold off.
That's right.
Yes, stop.
Now, I'm wondering if that isn't one of the important things that's happened with all of you?
What?
That in a sense you've learnt to hold off?
Maybe.
I'd say yes to
Well.
that.
I feel that now, when I speak to her, I'm able to speak to her now, but, which I couldn't do before. Now I understand that she understands things, and we talk about different things, and I have more confidence in her, which I couldn't discuss with her
That's
before.
because I'm more confident in myself.
So maybe all around it's good.
The fact is, before, the silence was so thick that they couldn't understand each other.
Yes.
And now the silence has been broken down.